One, two, one, two. Ah, yes, good, wonderful. Hello, all my lovelies. Trying to understand what on earth is going on with this camera. Not quite sure. We have not begun TikTok as yet. And I am trying to get the camera to cooperate. But all you can see is my mouth and my dreadful double chin. Deepest apologies to you. Well, hello! You're currently on a 3-stream streak. My goodness, and I see that Emily, the artiste formerly known as Emily, has indeed returned with a subscription for 26 months. My goodness, thank you so very much. I am here. I'm just trying to understand what on earth is going on with this camera. Bear with me, and it will be fixed forthwith. I can almost guarantee it. There we are. Oh my goodness, deepest apologies to you. All right then. Here we go. Hello. All right, darlings. Let's focus in, shall we? There we are. Oh my goodness. There we are. Now we can see what's going on. Hello, lovelies. How are we this evening? Can hear me at least, yes. All right, now let's begin TikTok. And then we'll start the music. Oh my goodness, so much going on this evening. How are we all? Hello, darling. Nellie, hello, my beautiful friend. How are you this evening? Good evening, TikTok. Hello, we are doing just a little bit of Thanksgiving Day pre-gaming, I believe you all call it. When there's a little celebration before the celebration, yes. Hello, good evening all, and very sleepy, but you had to see me. Oh yes, darling, I'm so glad that you decided to spend your evening with yours truly. It is quite an honor to be here with you as well. Quite splendid. Heard we've had quite the day. Yes, we have had quite the day. Well, as you all know, the House of Nightshade and the House of Wolfsbane have formed that alliance, which is how I'm here in the first place. Now, I will say that tonight we had quite a little bit of an incident before the stream started. My brother decided that today, at the 11th hour, was the best time to inform me of what we're missing for tomorrow's holiday dinner. And so I had to go out on the hunt. My fangs were retracted for the evening. It was quite successful. Happy turkey to everyone who celebrates it, and to you as well, Queen Foxy, your majesty, darling. And it must be wonderful to be preparing a meal in your new home, I would certainly imagine. Mackenzie, hello, happy Thanksgiving to you, darling. Well, so tonight I have once again donned the black and white stripes in the celebration of the 30th anniversary, if you can believe it. The 30th anniversary of the premiere of the film The Nightmare Before Christmas, released in 1993 by Touchstone Pictures, which is the now defunct live-action film studio found in Lake Buena Vista, Florida. an extension of the Walt Disney Company, which is how, in a roundabout way, how The Nightmare Before Christmas became a Disney enterprise, because it is indeed a Disney enterprise to begin with. Little bit of fun trivia. And tonight, in celebration of that, we also are conducting live auctions in which the merfolk of the Siren Grotto had the opportunity to pre-bid on our auction items this evening. It's so exciting. My goodness. And so the way that this shall work is we're going to start one item after the other on Twitch and on TikTok, and now YouTube as well. If you are watching on YouTube, thank you very much for being here. And we certainly do have a splendid, wonderful moderator team who shall be checking in on all of the different platforms regarding the auction. Now, I should say that unfortunately YouTube, I believe, is the only one who is ineligible for auction. Though if there is an item that you are interested in, please certainly reach out to me via email or direct messaging. So very glad that you're all here tonight. Thank you so much for being here to celebrate with me. Now, darlings, we have our Nightmare Before Christmas music running, the wonderful deluxe edition of the soundtrack. And what glorious, glorious, splendid news. I have located the original first edition printing of the children's book adaptation. It's a children's chapter book by Scholastic Publishing. No, not Scholastic. Hyperion. Hyperion paperbacks. First edition, 1993. Yellowed pages and all. Isn't that just delightful? I've had this since I was a very small child. Yes, thank you very much. Isn't that exciting? Psycho Queen of hello, darling. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Hello, Phoenix, and a splendid happy Thanksgiving to you as well, my darling. How are you tonight, sir? Righto. So, who is ready to begin our tale? And I understand we had a pre-bid in the Siren Grotto for a few of our Nightmare Before Christmas items. However, the ones who pre-bid are not in the chat as yet. We want to be fair to all, and so, whilst we're waiting for them, we shall run a few items that are not pre-bid already. We want to give everyone who's bid the opportunity to win the item that they bid on. Doing good. Got some Christmas shopping started and stuff for dinner. Wonderful. Oh my goodness. Don't get me started on Christmas shopping. My goodness. Well, as you know, as the Lady Scarlet Nightshade. Crystal Bell, hello, darling. Hello, my beautiful. A happy Thanksgiving to you. Now, as you all know, the Siren Captain and all of the rest of the Sirens in the grotto have employed me and taken me under their wing to be their librarian in the West Wing Library. But I also am the representative spokeswoman for the House of Nightshade and our shop, Nightshade and Company. And so, tonight, and all this week, my goodness, we have been quite busy setting up the shop to get ready for, what's it called now, Black Friday. There will be live auction sales all day on Friday, beginning at 5 a.m. Pacific time on the Whatnot app, and we shall be simulcasting those live auctions everywhere we can. We want as many people as possible to be able to see all of the wonderful, creepy, haunted holiday items we have for sale this year. Some handcrafted, some sourced from other places, and some a little combination of the two. But I think you'll all be quite delighted by all of the treats this winter. Yes. Lornie said she's on her way. Wonderful. Hello, my beauties. All right. So, whilst we are waiting for Lornie, because I believe she did bid on something, let's begin an auction item whilst we begin the first chapters of the book. Yes? It is quite a small little book, children's book after all, but I'll show you all the pictures. Amberlynn, hello, darling. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. Well, can you believe the holidays are here? Once again, I've survived and perhaps suffered through 149 of them, at least. We're not sure exactly how old I am, but we do have quite a bit of fun trying to make our best educated guesses. One of these days we'll develop the character enough to have her have an actual age, but for now, we know at least predating the Civil War, and the Nightshade and Wolfsbane families predate at least back to 1617. Oh, thank you for gifting, my goodness, you're wonderful. Thank you so very much. All right, here is our first public auction item. A pair of Jack Skellington Disney ears. Aren't they just darling? Made of wonderful squishy foamy fabric on a lightweight headband, covered in sequins and glitter, and the Jack Skellington icon is made of felt. Aren't they just darling? Yes, you do, Foxy, you do have these. I remember that, yes. She says, I have those and I love them, and whoever would like to pick these up, I know you'll love them too. So, shall we open the bidding then? Let's open the bidding on this pair of Jack Skellington ears across Twitch and on TikTok and YouTube. My goodness, all the different places that we're going tonight. And thank you for gifting, liking, tapping the screen. Let us begin reading together, shall we? Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas. A novel by Daphne Skinner, based upon a story and characters by Tim Burton. Adaptation by Michael McDowell. Screenplay by Caroline Thompson. And now a motion picture from Touchstone Pictures. What a relic. Oh, look at how delightful. Look at the original illustration from 1993. Isn't that just darling? Hasn't changed much, has it? I do love the font. I always did love the Nightmare Before Christmas typefacing. Same picture on page 2. Oh my goodness. Chapter 1. Here we are. You were 10 when it came out. My goodness, oh darling, and so was I. All right then. And remember, we have the Disney ears up for auction, and the auction is running right now. We have lots more coming round the bend. Opening bid, $15. Here we are, darlings. Chapter 1. Under the orange disk of the moon, in a place called Halloween Land, the creatures of the night were busy. Grinning jack-o'-lanterns danced in the graveyard. Werewolves howled. Corpses, vampires, and witches joined their voices in a ghoulish chorus of glee. Tonight was their favourite night of all, Halloween. You won't be able to comment, but I understand, Amber, of course, darling. We're just so grateful that you are here. Don't forget to keep tapping that screen. And it had been a splendid one. As they gathered down in the centre of town to celebrate, everyone agreed on that. They also agreed that such a night would not have been possible without the help of their leader, the King of Halloween, Jack Skellington. Everyone cheered wildly as Jack stepped down into the town square. "You were screamed, Jack," called a vampire. "It was terrifying," added the werewolf. "You're a witch's fondest dream," cackled two of the Halloween land's gnarliest crones. They cheered again as the mayor clapped Jack on his rickety shoulders. "Thanks, Jack," boomed the mayor. "We owe it all to you. Why, without your leadership—" Jack cut him off. "Not at all, Mayor," he said with a hint of impatience. Or was it something else in his voice? But the mayor didn't notice that anything was wrong. He was too intent upon keeping the crowd's attention focused where it should be, on himself. "It's now my pleasure to give out our wonderful prizes," he announced. "Our first award goes to the vampires for most blood drained in a single evening. Congratulations, fanged ones," he boomed as the audience cheered. "Second prize," he went on, "is to the Dark Lagoon leeches, who also have a real taste for blood." The crowd cheered again, and Jack took the opportunity to slip away. It was strange, but all the applause made him feel terrible. He needed to go someplace that would cheer him up. He headed for the graveyard. He was so preoccupied that he never noticed the frail, melancholy figure of Sally the rag doll watching him. Sally was sad too, and with good reason. She had been created by the town's official evil scientist. As try as she might, and she tried many times, Sally couldn't seem to escape from him. Although he was confined to the wheelchair, he guarded her jealously. "Panda 711, hi! Hello, darling. How are we this evening?" Sally sighed and leaned against a tombstone. She had tried to escape tonight, but once again the evil scientist had stopped her. Well, he'd almost stopped her. In their struggle, Sally had even pulled off one of her own stitched-on arms before getting away and running here to the graveyard. An arm was a small price to pay, thought Sally, especially since she was an expert seamstress who could always sew herself back together. She just had to get free of the evil scientist, Dr. Finkelstein. But how? Her unhappy thoughts were interrupted by the sight of Jack Skellington walking along slowly, his bony shoulders hunched and his skull hanging low. Sally couldn't believe her eyes. Jack looked almost sad. But what could he possibly be sad about? He was the pride of Halloween Town. She soon found out. Jack's bony feet carried him so close to where she sat that she could hear every word he uttered. To Sally's astonishment, they were words of woe and weariness, boredom and frustration. "Year after year, it's the same routine," he told his little ghost dog, Zero, who floated alongside him. his jack-o'-lantern nose gleaming. Terror, shock, shrieks and moans. I scare the bravest of the brave. But I've grown so weary of the sound of screams, Zero. They leave me cold. I can't help but wonder why I bother at all. Jack sighed heavily. I'm sick and tired of scaring everyone. I want to do something different. But I just don't know what it is, he told his little dog. Why don't I know what it is, Zero? Why? Sally's ragdoll heart melted. Jack was suffering, just as she was. She stood up, wanting to reach out to him. I know how you feel, she whispered under her breath, almost hoping he'd hear. But it was too late. Lost in his sorrow, Jack had gone. Now a tear rolled down Sally's face. As best as she could, with only one arm, she began to pick a bouquet for the evil scientist. A bunch of deadly nightshade. How apropos! With it, she would make a powerful sleeping potion. Maybe then she could escape. Auction, yes. We have an auction item for sale right now. Did anyone have interest in the ears? Or shall we move on to the next item? Everything we're doing tonight is Nightmare Before Christmas themed, Panda. Yes. So exciting. It's adorable. Oh, goodness. Yes. Opening bid on these is $15 US. Thank you, Emily the artiste. Yes. I shouldn't worry about those little announcements, should I? You're here. I know you've got this. We all help each other, don't we, after all? One of your favourites? Yes, everything tonight is Nightmare Before Christmas themed. We're celebrating the 30th anniversary of the Nightmare this time of year. With a dramatic reading of the children's novel that I've had since 1993. I would imagine that came out right before the movie premiered because it says it's now a major motion picture. Little did they know how major a motion picture it would be for all of us, did they? Oh, it's so darling. Such a darling little book. It says it's for ages 8 to 12. Isn't that appropriate? And it's the school book club edition. I wonder if it came from the book fair. Who remembers their childhood book fair? You do, Psycho Queen. Oh my goodness. What was one of your favourite things? Did your parents ever give you money for the book fair? Mine did one time and then never did again after what I brought home. J. Nelly, you do? Yes, Nelly, certainly. You must look on it very fondly. What did you enjoy getting from the book fair? Your mom did. I am caffeinating because I have been pulling between 16 and 18-hour days every day this week in preparation for our spectacular Black Friday sale and kickoff to the haunted holidays. Hello, Ghost Rider. How are you this evening? Happy Thanksgiving to you. You loved the books and the bookmarks. You bought the actual books. I must have purchased actual books at some point if I came home with this. You're back from your journey from Daneland. Ah, wonderful. Well, tonight we're celebrating the 30th anniversary of The Nightmare Before Christmas. since the film did premiere in 1993. Can you believe it is already the 30th anniversary of one of our most beloved cultural zeitgeist films? My goodness. And I do have something that is quite splendid and quite special. Only one left. This is our next item because I don't believe anyone's interested in the Jack Skellington ears tonight. Which is all right. They'll be there until someone does want them. But look at this little beauty. Here's the next item up for sale today. Thank you so very much for gifting. Makes you feel like a granny. Oh, darling. Wait until you turn 95. Oh, that was the year for me. I must say, that one really did knock me out. I looked in the mirror and went, my goodness, I'm not looking as immortal as I once did. All right, then. Oh, you would like to see Panda? All right, darling. Here we are. And also, auction items tonight, we're doing flat fee shipping. So if you decide that you would like multiple things tonight, everything will arrive in the same envelope. There's the glittery ears for Panda. And it is, they're three-dimensional. See, they're puffy. They puff, puff, puff. And they're very comfortable on a lightweight headband. You want to see the necklace? Oh, yes. Good evening. Hello. Happy Thanksgiving to you. How are you, dear? Be making inappropriate, crazy comments. Well, I certainly did not. Was raised partially in the woods, after all. All right, darlings. Here's the necklace. The 30th anniversary special edition Nightmare Before Christmas necklace. It is dual-sided inside of glass domes, heart-shaped, with Jack and Sally on the hill on one side and inside the heart-shaped bale. Hello, Mel's. Happy Thanksgiving. Yes, please come on over. Welcome back to TikTok. If someone happens to be on Twitch or over on YouTube, thank you very much for being here. But it looks like the action is going to be on TikTok tonight. All right, then. And then the other side says The Nightmare Before Christmas, 1993. Happy Peacock Chicken Day. Happy Turducken. Necklace starting at 10. Oh, goodness. Well, it is an auction after all. If we were... Now, the last time that we had one of these that retailed, it retailed for 25. So I believe that a starting bid of 10 is a steal and a half. What do we think? Bid starts at 10. Wonderful. Wonderful. All right, everyone. Bidding starts at 10 US dollars. According to Emily the Artiste, our wonderful auctioneer extraordinaire. So there's the front, and here's the back. It is reversible. You can wear it either way. Nelly says 10. And this side, simply, the bale is flat, heart-shaped. Nelly says 10. Who's going to beat her out? Panda, it is gorgeous. It's so beautiful. And it feels substantial, too. Like, you'll know it's there. You'll know it's there. Here, I'll show you where it would lie if you were to wear it round your neck. I have one of those. I am the spokeswoman for the shop, after all. I should be able to model the jewellery that we sell. Don't let it get away. That's right. See? There's where it would lie. On your neck. And you could wear it the other way around as well. And the chain that it is on is so glittery as well. I believe it might be palladium coated or don't let it get away with it. All right, there's the necklace. We'll keep the necklace running, keep the necklace rolling, and I'm going to read the next chapter of our little book. Chapter 2. The next day's weather was perfect for Halloween Land. The skies were dark and gloomy, and a bone-chilling wind blew restlessly through the town. Of course, most folks in Halloween Land didn't notice the weather. They were asleep. Night was their time. The mayor was awake. He had important things to take care of. At an hour when all good witches and werewolves were dreaming wicked dreams, he was bustling across the town in his hearse with one thing and only one thing on his mind: the plan for next year's Halloween. And for this, he needed Jack. The mayor stepped out of his hearse at Jack's tower, his arms laden with blueprints, lists, and plans. He rang Jack's bell once, then half-dozen times, but got no response. "Jack," he called, "I've got the plans for next year's Halloween. I need to go over them with you, Jack, so we can get started." Silence. "Jack, please," he called, a note of desperation creeping into his voice. "I'm only an elected official here. I can't make decisions by myself. I need you, Jack." My favorite line of the film. More silence. Hello everyone, welcome to the live stream. Please keep tapping the screen, keep sharing the live. I am delighted to be reading this story for you this evening, and the more the merrier. The mayors began to get angry. Like most politicians, he was a two-faced creature. Depending on his mood, his head would swivel from a smile to a frown. Frowning at the moment, he shouted in his most commanding voice, "Jack, answer me!" But that didn't work either. As it slowly dawned on the mayor that Jack was not at home, a cluster of worries sprang up in his busy brain. Where was Jack? Was he missing? And if he was, what would happen to next year's Halloween? The surprising truth was that Jack didn't know where he was either. His mournful meandering had taken him far from Halloween Land, miles from anything familiar, into the deep, dark forest. But his gloom was so overpowering that he paid no attention to his surroundings. It wasn't until Zero barked at him impatiently that Jack stopped. Then he looked around in confusion, as if waking up from a dream. "Zero, where are we?" he asked. The little dog whined. He was lost too. A soft wind sighed through the trees. Jack saw that he was in a clearing, lit only by the faintest of starlight. The enormous trees round him were like none he knew. Doorways were carved into their trunks, and mysterious symbols were carved into the doorways. Jack had never seen anything so strange. "What is this?" he murmured to Zero, examining each tree in turn. One doorway bore the sign of an egg that was decorated with stripes and flowers. Another was carved with a great big heart. A third was carved with a four-leaf clover. But the doorway that truly fascinated Jack bore a tree on its trunk. A tree festooned with ornaments that topped with a star. He moved closer. The doorway rattled on its hinges, as if inviting him to open it. How could he resist? Jack pulled the door open. For an instant there was only silence. Then a cool gust of wind, like a giant icy hand, wrapped itself round Jack and drew him inside. He screamed in terror, but only Zero heard. Then the door clanged shut, and not even Zero could help. Remember that part in the film when Jack gets locked in, dragged in through the door, and Zero's just behind, and he goes, "Boop, boop." Precious. Precious. Oh, goodness. Henry Selick certainly thought of everything. Certainly calculated everything. Hello! Oh, Moonshader's here, and Carrie Anna's here. Hello, my darling. Happy Thanksgiving to you. A very happy holiday. All right. Well, I think it's time to show our items once more. Let me show you the items that we have open for auction right now. We have a pair of Jack Skellington ears, and we have the Jack and Sally 30th anniversary commemorative necklace. Nellie has this one for $15 US right now, and the ears are completely up for grabs. I thought I saw 15. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know. Well, darling, so those are the two things that are up right now. And I'm ready to show another item. Let it run, run, run. Mama Bat, hello, darling. A very happy Thanksgiving to you. How are you tonight, my dear? We're 2 chapters in to our 30th anniversary celebration of The Nightmare Before Christmas. Because what else do you do in November? All right, darlings. Oh, I cannot wait to show you the next item. You are going to absolutely adore it. Yes. But we need to wait for the person who pre-bid on it to come in. All right, my darlings. Ah, goodness, I hope everyone is doing very well tonight. The necklace is at 10 right now. How did I know I was going to have that mixed up? All right, I've got to fix my hair too. It doesn't want to cooperate with me. All right. Yes, it's right here. It's right here. The door slams and Zero goes, "Oh, precious. You're good. Just had a tiny argument with your sister. Oh, no. Well, I had a slight little tiff with my youngest brother tonight. Not really a tiff. I was just a little stunned to learn that they didn't have very much for dinner tomorrow. And I didn't find out about it until quite late in the game. So I started late tonight. Good thing you are. It's true. I'm so grateful to have you here. I'm grateful to have you as always, always. All right, everyone. The music is starting. That means it's time for chapter 3. Jack's bones stirred. He found himself lying on something cold, yet oddly soft and comforting. His eyes opened. First, he saw the night sky sparkling with stars. Then he saw white. It was everywhere. There's white things in the air, blanketing the ground, the trees, and the houses with its soft glow. Stuck with me. I'm happy to be stuck with you, darling. Jack picked up a handful of stuff. It felt cool and powdery, and it shaped nicely into a ball. What's this? He wondered, throwing the ball into the air and watching it land nearby with a small, satisfying thud. What? Gotta love family drama. Oh, yes, indeed, Mama Bat. Whatever this stuff was, he liked it. Jack leapt to his feet, suddenly feeling light as a cloud. He couldn't wait to explore. This town, he realized very quickly, was nothing like Halloween Land. People on the streets were singing. The children were throwing balls of the white stuff at each other and laughing, instead of throwing heads. The trees were covered with bright ornaments and topped with stars. And inside cozy little houses, people sat together, talking, reading, singing, even hugging and kissing. Jack kept walking, enchanted by everything round him. Before long, he noticed something else. He hadn't heard a single scream, only laughter and sweet music. The smells wafting toward him through the crisp night air were delicious. Cakes and pies, not swamp gas smoke, the witch's brews. And children here, Jack saw as he looked into the house after house, all slept peacefully, untroubled by nightmares. They were happy. Everyone was happy. Jack could not keep from smiling. He was happy too. Amazing, amazing. What is this? What is this? He wondered. Jack murmured to himself. Back in Halloween Land, nobody was smiling. Far from it. They were frowning, groaning, and moaning. Whoop, bear with me. All right, there we go. There were groans, there were moans, because Jack was still missing. The fact was causing everyone a great deal of worry. We've got to find Jack, the mayor told the crowd that he had gathered in the town square. There are only 365 days left till next Halloween. 364, yelled a specifically worried werewolf. Is there anywhere we forgot to check? Asked the mayor. Think hard. Tell me. I looked in the crypts, said the vampire. We opened the tombs, called the witches. I scoured the cemetery, said the werewolf, but he wasn't there. Worries deepened. Moods darkened. Where was he? It's time to sound the alarm, said the mayor. A wail of a cat screeching was the town's alarm. The distant noise reached Sally's ears just as she was whipping up a very special brew. Her private name for it was Sleeping Potion Soup, though when she served it up to the evil scientist, she simply called it lunch. It was full of deadly nightshade, and if the doctor drank it, he'd sleep for a week. Wouldn't that be nice, thought Sally, as she slept set a steaming bowl of the stuff in front of the doctor. Then I could get away for good. Have some, she urged. The doctor sniffed it hungrily. Mmm. Then he put down his spoon. Frog's breath, he snarled. What's wrong? Said Sally innocently. I thought you liked frog's breath. But inwardly she quailed. She had used frog's breath to disguise the smell of deadly nightshade. Had she used too much? Nothing's more suspicious than frog's breath, said the doctor. He dripped his spoon into the soup and held it up to Sally. Until you taste it, I won't swallow a spoonful. Sally knocked the spoon out of his hand with a nervous giggle. I'm not hungry, she said. Whoops. You do Sally very well. Oh, thank you so much. Voiceover is part of the work that I do. And I pride myself on certain accents and character voices. Thank you. That's a very high compliment. The doctor fixed her with his most malevolent glare. You want me to starve, don't you? I'm weak. I'm old. The one to whom you owe your very life. Oh, don't be silly, said Sally. She bent down as if to pick up the spoon and reached into her sock and pulled out a slotted spoon instead. She dipped into the soup and noisily pretended to slurp a mouthful of broth. See? Scrumptious. It worked. Thanks to the slotted spoon. The soup fell back into the bowl, but the doctor didn't see. Sally breathed a huge sigh of relief as she grabbed the bowl away from her and started eating hungrily. A hopeful smile crept over her ragdoll face. Soon, she thought, soon I'll be free. 10 more pounds of potatoes to peel. Oh, goodness. Quite literally, it sounds like an army task. All right, then. Let's see. All right. Are we all done? Are we all done with the necklace? Are we all done with the necklace? How about with the ears? Would anyone like to see a different item? Necklace has sold to Nellie. Thank you. Thank you, Nellie. I do appreciate you. Thank you so very much. Oh, darling. I shall send it to you forthwith. All right, my darlings. Well, now that the necklace is sold, let's look at another item. And this one is quite a big one. This one is the big one. All right, fine. Dropping things and missing things everywhere. Where'd you pay me again? You can do either PayPal or on Venmo. And Emily has the links to do that. All right, my darlings, this one. Well, you all know, I believe you all know, Stranger Things Day was November 6th, which is also the day that he goes missing, yes? That's why it's Stranger Things Day. Well, Jack Skellington also found his way into the Upside Down. In this piece that we have for sale tonight. Are you ready? Are you ready? This is a premiere exclusive. No one has seen this item before. Are you ready? Oh my goodness. It is a limited edition. As a matter of fact, I've never seen another one like it. I even tried to look online and they don't exist. This is an exclusive Jack Skellington found his way into the upside down town hoodie jumper. And it's Jack. He went in through the wrong tree and ended up in the upside down. And look, he's encountering a Demogorgon. This piece of art is called Upside Down Town. All right, and Mama Bat, you're over on Twitch here. Now you can see it as well. Now this, it says that it's a medium. We're guessing men's size medium. And it is a hoodie. And look at what's on the hood. And it is a wraparound design, all over print design. We're guessing men's medium because I tried it on. Thank you, Nelly. I received that. Thank you. If you had enough, you're happy Heidi would get it. Well, darling, you know, I don't know if it's going to go anywhere tonight. And so, if you do have the opportunity, maybe we can arrange something for later on. Congratulations to Nelly. Everyone, congratulations go all around to Nelly, please, in the chats. All right, so there's the hoodie, the Jack in the upside down hoodie. Men's size medium, it's nice and roomy. We're guessing medium because, believe it or not, I tried it on the other night. I'm a roughly women's medium, and it was a little big on me. So, yeehaw, Crystal says. All right, darling. Well, all right, we're going to keep this. This one is up. Would anyone like to auction it today? If somebody wants to auction it today, we certainly can. Otherwise, Crystal, let's talk on Black Friday. And maybe we can make it yours. Hmm? We do want to help each other out, and as a shop owner, I want to make sure that everyone leaves happy. So, I'll do it either way. Thank you for liking the lives. Thank you very much. Mama Bat said congratulations to Nelly as well. All right, darlings. I'm Mr. Unlucky. All right, then. All right, let's show something cute. Let's show something very cute and little. And so dainty. This is... Where is it? All right. Well, I showed you a necklace. I'll show you another necklace, and then I should like to show you a ring. Lady Ravana has entered the chat. Welcome, darling. Welcome to you. How are you tonight? A happy Thanksgiving to you. Can't get anything until next week. All right, Mama Bat. Well, then let's keep that in mind for next week, when it's officially the Haunted Holidays at Nightshade and Company. All right, my darlings. Here's the next little item. This is a lovely little acrylic laser cut necklace of Sally, dressed as a fairy, wearing her little Sally doll and her little fairy wings. And that one will start at 10 as well. Stressed? Oh, darling, I'm so sorry to hear it. Keep breathing, keep breathing. It's been quite a stressful week, hasn't it? Mama Bat, we will certainly take care of you next week, darling. And don't forget as well, before I do the next chapter of the book, don't forget that we do in fact have something wonderful going on all through this weekend, beginning on Black Friday, starting at 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, starting on the Whatnot app and broadcasting it to as many channels as humanly possible. We will be premiering the Haunted Holidays collections at Nightshade and Company. Live auctions quite literally all day long. It is going to be quite the eventful weekend. Friday, starting at 5 a.m., Black Friday begins, and all throughout the day. Saturday, Small Business Saturday, the Etsy shop is up and running. There's a 50% off sale going on our Etsy shop tonight and through Friday morning. And then after that, all throughout the rest of the month, our Black Friday on Etsy continues, especially for the Elegant Sandwiches of Patreon. Patreon receives a special secret code that gives them 50% off the Etsy shop throughout the entire month of November. So please consider that as an extra perk of being a member, valued member of our Patreon here at Siren of Sound. All right, darlings, let's begin the next chapter, shall we? Let's read. Chapter 4. Back in the town square, hope was scarce as bat feathers. Despair, however, was readily available. The mayor, who lay sprawled atop his hearse, had more than enough for everyone. As dusk fell, he stared up at the darkening sky in desperation. Where was Jack? No one knew. Yes, more, please. Here it comes. All right. Then, just as a silver moon appeared in the sky, a distant bark was heard. It was followed by a strange rumbling sound, a sound that gradually grew louder and louder. Zero? Jack? The mayor barely dared to say the whole words aloud. He sat up. The crowd stirred. The rumbling became a dull roar. Jack, driving a jaunty red Christmastown snowmobile, zoomed into the town square. Zero followed, his nose all aglow, barking with excitement. A ragged chair went up into the square. The mayor, wavering between relief and irritation, naturally chose irritation. Where have you been? He snapped. We've been worried sick. Call a town meeting and I'll tell you all about it, answered Jack with a smile. Jack was still smiling as the town had filled up a few hours later. He had great news to tell, and everyone seemed a bit confused, but eager to hear about it. Sally, fresh from putting the evil scientist to sleep, pressed forward with the rest of the crowd. As Jack stepped up to the podium, a murmur of interest and excitement swept through the hall. But when Jack tried to describe Christmastown, the interest turned to puzzlement. Christmastown? What was that? It's a world unlike any I've ever seen, said Jack. I can't describe it, but it's not a dream. It's as real as my skull. The crowd looked bewildered. Luckily, Jack had come prepared. He turned the table beside him, which was piled high with Christmas presents. Here, let me show you, he said, holding up a gaily wrapped box. This is a thing called a present. The whole thing starts with a box. A box? Asked the demon. How delightful a box. No, cried Jack, whose smile was beginning to fade. A box with brightly colored paper and a bow. A bow? But why? How ugly. What's in it? What's in it? That's the point of the thing, not to know. Not to know? What was Jack talking about? Confusion swept through the crowd like a wind over a bog. Jack decided to try something else. He held up a big red Christmas stocking. In Christmas Town, he said, an oversized sock is hung like this on the wall. Does it still have a foot? Let me see, let me look. Let me see. Is it rotted all covered with gunk? By now, there was not a trace of a smile on Jack's face, and his frustration was beginning to show. There's no foot inside, but there's candy, or sometimes it's filled with small toys. Small toys? Do they bite? Do they snap or explode in the sack and scare girls and boys? Jack saw he was getting nowhere fast. This crowd would never understand the goodwill and good cheer of Christmas. I may as well give them what they want, he decided. And here's the song. My goodness, it's as if I timed it or something. You don't understand. That's not the point of Christmasland. This is so much fun. All right. We might as well let the song go. It's just perfect timing. But there's candy, or sometimes it's filled with small toys. Or explode in the sack. So there's stuff like that scarecrows and boys. This Christmas sounds fun. I think it's yours. Let's try it at once. Listen now, you don't. So fast. Something here that you don't quite grasp. Aha, and here we are. I have saved for the last, for the ruler of this Christmas land. Here's some king with a deep and mighty voice, and that's what I've come to understand. Huge and red, says bulging sacks with his big great arms. So I've heard it said. No night of the full moonlight, he rises through to the sky like a vulture in the sky. And they call him what? Sandy Claus. And speaking of, we even have little Sandy Claus charms. Oh, they're just so cute. Oh, darling, thank you. We're just having fun. Just having fun. Nightmare Before Christmas night. 30th anniversary of the Nightmare Before Christmas. Isn't that something? All right. Hearing that, the crowd grew very quiet. And his words of Sandy Claus sent a thrill throughout the audience. As they broke into excited chatter, Jack slowly gathered up his Christmastown souvenirs. The meeting hadn't exactly turned out the way he'd hoped. Everyone was excited, but no one really understood why Christmastown was so special. Could he ever make them see? Jack sighed and headed for home. He just didn't know. Chapter 5. But after spending the night in his tower, surrounded by all of his Christmastown paraphernalia, the snow globes, the candy canes, the holly, Jack was determined to try again. Thank you so very much for joining the live and the follows and the shares. Thank you so very much. This time, he'd do it differently, methodically, scientifically. He snapped his bony fingers. That's it, he cried. I'll conduct a series of experiments and isolate the Christmas spirit. Scientifically. Stroke of genius, Jack. After a quick trip to the now recovered Dr. Finkelstein's house to borrow equipment, Jack got to work. I love that part of the film too, where he goes, Jack, my boy. Equipment, whatever for. Love that. All right. First, he set up a laboratory. A laboratory at the top of his tower, complete with microscope, centrifuge, test tubes, petri dishes, and beakers. Who's that? Ah, Vegeta, hello, darling. Leslie Lynn, hello. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. We're in the middle of reading the 30th anniversary of The Nightmare Before Christmas, and this is the first edition children's book adaptation from 1993, 30 years ago. All right. He began with mistletoe. No luck. Then he tried the candy cane and a teddy bear. Still no luck. His eye fell on a group of bright Christmas ornaments, globes, angels, a glittering star. He murmured. It's worth a try. He crushed the star and poured the dust into a beaker. At first, nothing happened, and then it began to glow and pulsate, filling the room with a beautiful, soft green light. What was it? What did it mean? Jack didn't know. Not far away, someone else was watching the pulsing green light. As Jack stood in his tower room, transfixed by its unearthly glow, Sally the rag doll saw it from the window, high up in her room, where the evil scientist had locked her. Sally wanted to escape the doctor more than ever, but for the first time in her lonely rag doll life, she yearned to escape to someone. And that someone was Jack. Sally had fallen in love with him. She had decided to send him a gift, a special potion she had prepared for herself. She put the potion into a basket and lowered it to the window on a rope. The ground was so far away. For an instant, Sally lost her courage, but the thought of Jack brought it back to her. The basket landed on the ground, and Sally gathered up all her resolve. Then she jumped. The thud she made was soft enough that no one, least of all the evil scientist, heard it. And even though she'd lost an arm and a leg in the fall, Sally didn't mind. She was clever, and she'd come prepared. She pulled out her trusty darning needle and proceeded to sew herself back together again. It didn't take long. Moments later, she was standing at the foot of Jack's tower, fastening her basket to the rope and pulley that hung from Jack's window. Then Sally's basket arrived. Jack was in the middle of yet another equation. This one read, presents plus mistletoe plus snowballs equals Christmas fun? It looked as good as all the others. Why weren't any of them adding up? Jack scratched his skull. It was aching. The basket at the window was a welcome interruption, and so was Sally, who stood far below, beaming up at him. The sight cheered Jack immensely, though he couldn't say why. Then he noticed a bottle in the basket. He opened it. A tiny cloud drifted out of the bottle. It took shape in the air above Jack's head. It became a ghostly butterfly, beautiful and haunting. How lovely, thought Jack. He leaned out the window to thank Sally, but he had disappeared. Though she was extremely clever and brave enough to jump 50 feet to the ground, Sally was also a little shy. The moment Jack had smiled down at her, she had been seized by a fit of shyness so overpowering that it had whisked her away from his tower like a turbocharged witch broom. Now she sat at the town gates, wondering what the future held. Well, there was only one way to find out. Sally picked a flower and began pulling off its petals one by one. He loves me not, she whispered. He loves me, he... Suddenly, the flower in Sally's hand did something very strange. It began to twirl round and changed into a miniature Christmas tree. Sally stared at it, not knowing what to think. Did this mean that Jack didn't love her? Or that it was a bad omen about his plans for Christmas? She just didn't know. Suddenly, the tiny tree burst into flames and disappeared, leaving Sally cold, confused, and completely in the dark. Look at this, folks. Look at this. Look at how delightful this is. Look, pictures from the movie inside the book. Jack Skellington, the head haunt of Halloween Land, has grown tired of the same old frights. Sally the ragdoll hides behind a tombstone, listening to Jack's songs of woe. Oh my goodness, look. They don't make them like this anymore, do they? Oh my goodness, look. No, they really don't make them like this anymore. Wow. Hello, all. How are we tonight? Happy Thanksgiving. Liquid Day. Hey, hello, Sarah. How are you? Happy Thanksgiving to you. Oh, this is so cool. What a relic. Oh, Zero, Jack's trusty ghost dog, accompanies his master wherever he roams. While wandering through the forest, Jack comes upon a tree with a mysterious door carved into the trunk. Oh, I see. So this is just the little things explaining the movie cells. Isn't that just darling? Oh, who's going to go and watch this film after the live tonight? Oh my goodness, look. We're also waiting for Lonnie to come in. We're still waiting for Lonnie so that I can finally show you the item that she bid on. It's so exciting. You're going to love it. If you liked the other items that I've shown so far, you're going to love the rest. Oh my goodness. I've had this little book since 1993. I can't even with this, you all. My goodness. But Tim Burton really did have quite a heyday in 1993, didn't he? All throughout the early 90s. It was The Nightmare Before Christmas, which he had very little part in, by the way. Tim Burton had very, very little to do with The Nightmare Before Christmas. So we felt like it turned away time and time again. Oh, darling, that's lovely. Yeah, don't tell me that, darling. Oh my goodness, I was already 10 years old. I was already 10. Oh. All right, my beauties. Well, let's take a look at another auction item and see if this is something that you'd all like to do. Here's something for the gentleman. And perhaps for the Lady Nightshade too, though I already have pocket watches in great supply, darlings. This is a Nightmare Before Christmas pocket watch, and the only other one of our valued, wonderful merfolk who has this pocket watch is Bat-Bry. He put together the most clever, handsome, stunning campaign advertising his pocket watch. I need to get a hold of it from him because he did a remarkable job modeling this watch for us. I don't look a day over 385, darling. Thank you so very much. I shall take that as a high compliment. Look at that. and open it up. And it does work. It is a real watch with quartz movement, battery operated quartz movement. You can wind it, you can change the time as you need. But look at how handsome it is. My goodness. Who would not like to have that under the tree? I see that there are some comments being filtered. That's all right, though. That's all right. If you're trying to say something legitimate, please get creative, because I would like to hear all the thoughts about it. All right, you all. Ah, what a delight this is. What a delight to read for you and show you the auction items tonight, to discuss with you and spend some time doing a little bit of pre-gaming, as it were, with you. I do appreciate all of you. Thank you for being here. All right. Chapter 6. Here we are. Here's our song. Something's up with Jack. Something's up with Jack. Yeah? Sally wasn't the only one who was in the dark that night. Up in his tower, Jack was also completely befuddled. He'd done 56 more equations. He'd experimented with everything from toy trains to tinsel. He'd read Christmas stories and memorized carols. He'd been methodical. He'd been scientific. He'd been unsuccessful. This is so relaxing. Oh, darling, thank you for saying so. You know, I enjoy it. It's just a cozy night. It's always a cozy night on Thursdays. Unless we're reading something particularly harrowing or thrilling. In spite of all his calculations, Jack still hadn't been able to isolate the Christmas spirit. He'd felt as far from a solution now as when he'd started. He groaned, covering his eyes in despair. When he opened them, they fell on the beaker, glowing green on his table. Its light was softer now, but still beautiful. As he looked at it, Jack felt better. He would find his answer, no matter how long it took. And then, like a bolt of lightning, it came to him. He'd been doing this all wrong, he realized. I could never turn Halloween Land into Christmas Town. It's impossible. We're too different. But that's all right. We can have something even better. We can make presents for all the boys and girls of the world. We can have Christmas our way. Jack grinned. It was time for another town meeting. The mayor was confused. One minute there was a town meeting. The next minute there was another town meeting. All these meetings were making him dizzy. What was going on? But for all his confusion, the mayor knew there was a good leader should be decisive, or at least look that way. So he was careful to put on his very best smiling in-charge face once he joined Jack inside the town hall. Maybe this crazy idea of making a Halloween Land Christmas would work. The important thing was to act as if it were all perfectly normal, all part of a master plan that he, the mayor, had helped to engineer. Oh, it was hard. The mayor did his best to look as if he knew what was happening, while Jack gave out assignments. The werewolves were to make Christmas cookies. Dr. Finkelstein was to make those strange flying animals with the branches on their heads, and the vampires were to make baby dolls. Jack was getting everyone in Halloween Land involved, including Lock, Shock, and Barrel, Halloween Land's professional trick-or-treaters. Hello, Serenator! And they showed up, smiling mischievously, wearing those silly masks of theirs. The mayor shivered. It wasn't that their little devil, witch, and ghoul were trick-or-treaters. That was a fine profession in Halloween Land. No, It was something else. Lock, Shock, and Barrel were scheming. They were clever, and they always had something up their sleeves. Worse, the creature they called their leader, the one who had shaped them into their troublemaking little selves, was Oogie Boogie. When he thought of Oogie, the mayor couldn't help it. He screamed. Mean, fiendish Oogie was a giant bulging sack, stuffed with nasty insects and snakes that had a way of crawling through his heavily stitched seams. His favourite activity was prowling through the dark, looking for things, or people, to eat. Oogie was always hungry. Appreciate you're doing well. Thank you. He was the scariest creature in Halloween Land. Jack! Jack! The mayor yelped. It's Boogie's boys. Jack simply smiled. Amazing! He actually looked glad to see the little demons. Ah, Halloween's finest trick-or-treaters, he said, leaning down to pat each of them on the head. The job I have for you is top secret. It requires craft and cunning. Shock's eyes twinkled behind a witch's mask. And we thought you didn't like us, Jack, he said with a cackle. Jack knelt down so he could whisper. Absolutely no one is to know about it. Not a soul. The mayor couldn't believe it. Not only had Jack actually invited Lock, Shock, and Barrel here, now he was cooking up some kind of secret plan with them. What was going on? Jack hardly noticed the mayor's curiosity. He was busy telling Lock, Shock, and Barrel the most important part of his plan, the part about Sandy Claus. When he finished, he looked at them long and hard. One more thing, he said. Leave that no-good Oogie Boogie out of this. Of course, Jack, said Lock. Whatever you say, Jack, said Shock. Wouldn't dream of it, Jack, said Barrel. And one by one they crossed their fingers behind their backs. They were lying. But how would Jack know that? As the three little monsters hurried out of the town hall, giggling merrily, Jack smiled after them. His dream, he thought, was coming true. Little did he know that it was rapidly turning into a nightmare. Lock, Shock, and Barrel loved nightmares. Gleefully, they hurried home to their tree house, which was perched on a gnarly old tree atop a steep ravine. Once there, the terrible threesome sat down and took off their masks. They smiled at each other. Their real faces were exactly the same as their masks, but no one in Halloween Land knew that, except Oogie Boogie. They began to plan their crime. How to do it? Lock, who often thought out loud for the group, said they should set a trap for Sandy Claus and throw him into a big lobster pot where he belonged. And Lock had a better idea. What if they went to his door with a cannon? That might be fun. Many times, and when he opens, Sandy Claus will be no more. We put some pieces, and then Jack will beat us black and green. Look, Shock, the brains of the operation, was scornful. Why would Sandy Claus be blown to bits and pieces? Jack wouldn't like that. Then again, how important was Jack's opinion? After they kidnapped Sandy, in one piece, of course, they could bring him to Jack for a moment, and then to Oogie Boogie. Of snake and spiders, too. We do our best to please him and keep on his good side. Cohorts weren't so dumb. Shut up! Real good, you'll see. So, his door inside will be a note to read now in the note was read inside. All his curiosity entices him to look inside, and then we'll have him. 1, 2, 3. The trio giggled in their agreement. Great idea. They climbed into the claw-footed bathtub and zoomed off in search of their prey. Get at the Sandy Claus. Hug him with a cage and then throw away the key. Oh, goodness, so much fun. All right. Of course, Jack knew nothing of Lock, Shock and Barrel's plans. He was too busy working on his own plan, which was becoming more elaborate by the minute. He was handing out the assignments to everyone in Halloween Land, from the smallest gremlin to the biggest behemoth. If he had his way, everyone would take part in Christmas.